I'm live again. I'm going to go live more often on my channel. I really haven't stayed consistent to build my channel up. Oh, I should say peace to everybody first. Sorry about that. How rude. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Shalom. Namaste. Hotep. Ashe. Jumbo. All the greetings of love and light that there are to the darkest minds of the light. I am Napasha Da. And I just, like I said, I'm going live again. I have to consistently just sit on my channel and go live. When I say build, I'm not like, oh, I got to get this many subscribers. It would be great to get more subscribers, the more the merrier. But I mean, build like people who want to hear me, want to hear what I have to say, want to come to my channel. They are, saying, where's Napa? Oh, I only see her over on the HOK. Oh, I don't ever see her doing her channel and her exclusive thing that is really separate from the HOK. Because on my channel, I've always built on like the esoteric, different things that I feel passionate about, as well as the esoteric. Shout out, much love to the family of my brother, Esoteric Thoughts. We were such a great team. God, I miss him so much. He's such an awesome person. But yeah, esoteric stuff, and not just esoteric, but just things I feel, like I said, I feel passionate about. If I see something, I'll come on and I'll talk about it. And so people are like, where are you, Napa? What's up? We don't want to just see you, doing kung fu fighting, as far as like in debates, which is great, but we also want to hear from you, right? That's what I've been told. I've gotten feedback on that. So here I am. Everybody has their channel. Everybody, that's a good thing about having your channel. Anyone can have one as long as you follow the YouTube guidelines. You can be on here and you can just build and let people know this is what I think. This is who I am. This is where I came from. This is where I want to go. So I haven't looked in the chat because I am actually not able to look right now. But before I forget, the veil is thinning. We are now coming into the dying time. But you know what's really interesting in the Southwest? It is, it's like 109 degrees, 102 degrees still. And we're already in fall. We're in the autumn. However, it's not, there are no signs of real like gloominess, so to speak, or, like quieting down. I know that this is the Southwest and it's typically warm during these times, but it's just been really sunny. That doesn't mean that we are not, that doesn't mean that we're not going to still go into the thinning of the veil and the dying time are. So this is an exciting time of year. This is my favorite time of the year. I'm not going to lie. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the feeling when we're in it. I love the memories from childhood when I was like, when it would be, getting quiet and the fall was upon us, the autumn. I love the rainy time. We have rainy season in the summer here as well. It's called monsoon. There's like a season between like July, like mid-July to the end of August. It's called monsoon, but that's not the same kind of rain I'm talking about, because monsoon rain is like super tempest, like wild winds, lots of dust, lots of cyclones. Yes, cyclones. Let me check the chat real quick while I stop. Hey there, you. It's my friend Empress Janet. Hi, honey. You can I'm gonna look up, I'm gonna take my eyes off the chat, but I'm glad you're here. Yes, it's gonna come into the dying time. I don't really like to say dying time all the time because it sounds, sometimes people think it's negative, but it's not negative. It's just the time when things are getting quiet. And the veil starts to thin. When I say the veil starts to thin, there is a veil, so to speak. Like, we have people call them different dimensions, different realms. So there are many different realms, aka dimensions, aka existences, like living existences. Like, even oh, hold on, I can't. Let me do this real quick. All right. Even Michio Kaku. Oh, damn. Michio Kaku, famous physicist. I'm sorry, because I have to focus on something I'm doing. All right, famous physicist, very, very, very brilliant. He came up with the concept and now the theory of the string theory of different, basically different existences, different dimensions that we are in. This is his theory. I'm really rough drafting it right now for you, just roughly explaining it. Basically, there are different dimensions, infinite dimensions, and different existences. I'm going to say that again, existences. So not only are there different dimensions, like we say, oh, there's different planets, but we don't know if there's life on those planets. No. And by the way, planet is basically just a plane. Get it? A plane, like a level, like a place to exist in. It's not even level. It's just a place to exist in. A plane, different planes, not a plane that flies, not an aircraft. The actual plane that we are in right now, we're on a plane. And our plane is one aspect of our plane is that we're in Earth. We're Earthlings. Okay. So yeah, I'm watching where I'm going right now. What's going on here? I think there's a serious traffic jam. Damn. All right. So planet, plane, but there's different existences in these different realms in the string theory, in these different dimensions. So picture yourself, you are in, obviously, you're in the third dimension, but we also know about the fourth dimension that we are very familiar with now. So we know the first, the second, the third, and the fourth dimension. We're very, very, very aware of it. Fifth dimension, there's a lot of information out there that is spoken about. That's when we get into things talking about the ethereal element of ether, the quintessential part of our existence, which is like the ultimate, the how do you say, it embodies everything perfect. Okay, that's my little spin on it when I say the fifth dimension, but I don't want to go too far off. So we are existing in different dimensions. There are different realms too. I'm going to go in between. A realm is not a dimension, but you can loosely use the word realm. Dang, my battery's dying. I didn't charge my phone. Okay, you can loosely use the word realm to discuss a dimension and vice versa, but dimensions and realms are not exactly the same. However, in this conversation, well, not conversation, in this rant that I'm doing, in this context, we can use realm and dimension interchangeably because I'm talking about the veil, the separation that we have in between these different existences. Because we surely can exist in the fourth dimension, or let's say we can exist in the third dimension and then exist in the 12th dimension without a separation. Understand? We can't exist in the third dimension without a separation of our existence in the ninth dimension. That would, all kinds of things would go wrong. This can bring us into, believe it or not, our conversation about cosmogony, where we're talking about that debate that's coming up, cosmogony and time. You can talk about the beginning of, or the the building of, the construction of, the production of our whole universe or our multiverses. You can talk about that when you talk about cosmogony, right? And when you talk about that, about the different types of how it's produced, you're going to also pretty much have to talk about what are the separations. And in a nutshell, just really briefly here, the separations, the realms that are separating us are basically, we're like in vacuums. You understand? We are in a vacuum. And so you can also look at the vacuum as a vortex. Yes. So we're in vacuums, and when you imagine like you're in the middle of a whirlwind, right? It's going to be really hard if you're in the center of the eye of the storm or the center of the tornado, whatever you want to say. You're in the middle of it, right? It's very difficult to get through all of that wind, all of that power, all of that force. So you're existing in a vacuum. So it's very difficult to break through that separation. And that's how you can look at it with our realm. Now, are you ready? Tying it all together. I shared you out. Oh, thank you, baby girl. So listen to this. Here, this is the exciting part. Remember I said it's a dying time? It's getting quiet. Well, that vacuum that we're in, that vortex, that spinning, that, imagine it like you're in the center of a whirlwind, and that makes you like, it becomes like your center, you're in a vacuum. So in the dying time, it starts to slow down, and the whirlwind isn't as forceful. It's quieting down. And that is when, not all, but certain other realms, other existences, are very easy to reach from your existence that you're in right now. Right? So you could always get out of that vacuum if you know the right way, the right tools to use. But when it's full force, like spinning, you're in the center of the vortex, and it's picking up everything and it's moving forward. You're like, I gotta fight to get out. I gotta know how to get out. I gotta know how to do these things. But when it's around this time, it starts to get less powerful. It's not as strong. It's not as impermeable as it usually would be. It's easier to permeate. And that's what's called the veil. Yes, that's the veil. Peace, Miles Morales. Peace, Late Show 42. So I can look at the chat. So yeah, that's how you have to look at it. So the veil is thinning because it's quieting down. Why is it quieting down? That's just how the cycle of time goes. That's the way, that is existence. We go through phases. There's another thing talking about separation. So as we exist in this particular plane, in this AKA dimension, AKA realm, as we exist now, we are existing in time as well. That is why now I'm going to go to talk about a little bit about physics and mix it in and talk about gravity. Gravity, right? Well, I already was talking about physics, to be honest. But so gravity, if you look at time related to gravity, then you go, oh, wait a minute. Me standing in a physical place is still related to time. So if you have different different coordinates on the map, like if you were, say, you're in the center of the Arctic, or I'll say the Antarctic, and Antarctic, and then somebody is in the center of Texas. So they have different coordinates, right? That they're actually at different times. And I know that you said that you might say, well, duh, that's why we have time zones. No, that's the time zones are made up because they know different areas make different time. In fact, in fact, time is affected by not just where you stand, but it's affected by, yes, it's affected by altitude. It's still position and location. So this is a really great topic. Unfortunately, guys, I was just getting started. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back again. But I gotta go. I want to tell you, hi there, Afro Archaea. Much love and peace to you. Hold on. Okay, so anyway, sorry about that. I wanted to do this a little bit longer, but I can't. But I just wanted. Isn't this interesting though? I got to pick up and do part two when I get back home, and I'll be able to drop the link, and we can like have people come in and talk about it. I'm so glad that y'all came over here to listen to a little bit of that. Go back and listen to it from the beginning and think. What I really want you to do is just think. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm not the type to be like, I'm right about this and you're all wrong. Let's debate this. I mean, not on my channel. I'll do it on other channels, but not this topic because it's really not something to debate. It's really to get your mind going. See, your creative mind is always going to be linked to your scientific mind. The best scientists have the most inquisitive minds. Remember that. Best scientists have the most inquisitive minds. And when we sit and we think about, yeah, the way seasons change, the way, even if you want to think about the water cycle, you go, wow, yeah, that's wild. Precipitation, the water cycle, how the water, it evaporates and then it goes up to the sky. And then, when a certain time with heat, the temperature changes, then the water comes down and just goes in a cycle. That is the microcosm that you can look at when you want to also look at how the seasons work. Stay with me. I'm not saying it's only about water, but the cycle, the cycle. And isn't that interesting? I'm going to still stay on the water cycle. When you have the clouds, when the water evaporates and it goes up into the clouds with everything else, dust and, did you know that even dust is dead skin of like and hair of creatures? That's wild, right? So think about it. That's why people say, oh, they're in heaven. uh Things that turn into dust, which is everything that decomposes, can go up into the clouds. So I digress, but I want to get back to what I was saying about the water cycle, comparing it to the realm and like the vacuum and the vortex and what I said, like the whirlwind. So when the cloud has the water that has become gas, it's fine. It's it's in the cloud. It's everything's good, but it gets heavy, right? And that is what you could say. Okay, there's a time when the cloud is the gas, it is the water, but something weakens it. Or when I say weaken, I mean it brings it back into a state of liquid, and then it pours down. So you could look at the vortex, or well, I don't want to just say vortex, whatever the realm, the thing that separates the realm, the veil. You can look at that as what happens when the time changes. Why does that whirlwind, that cyclone, why does that vacuum start to the outside of it? Why does it start to break down and there's not that much pressure? Why? But it's related to time. It's related to time, and it's related to a lot of other things. So that is why I'm really excited to get into this debate about cosmogony, so the science of cosmogony and time. I mean, I'm not an expert on Kemet, but I'm pretty much, I have a couple things under my belt about physics and what I was going to say, physics and R.I.S.E. Dang, I couldn't remember it. I think I'm familiar enough to say, okay, yeah. And the basics of Kemet, like how things, I know I'm going on a totally different topic, but just stay with me. That's what y'all like. It's still the same thread though, but I'm excited to do this debate because that's what I'm talking about right now. And in essence, I'm talking about um, our existence, okay? What it's made up of. What is it made up of? What is our existence? What does our existence consist of? How is it constructed? How is it laid out? How does it work? And that's where I get back to realms and veils and things of the such. And it's all related to time. It's great. It's very interesting. I was going to say, I know the basics, some basic stuff about Kemet, and this has been a conversation since since beginning of time. It's been discussed in Kemet way before it was discussed in R.I.S.E. And shout out to the brothers and sisters who, are doing their thing and learning and doing the WASP. I'm not trying to knock them right now, but I'm just saying this conversation is an age old conversation. It's been what's going on with the cosmos, what's going on with time. It all ties together. It's a very, very big web, and it's a great topic. I love this kind of conversation, and never let someone feel like you're not smart enough, or you can't discuss this. Be like our brother, Cosmic Chris. Shout out to Cosmic Chris. He's always getting involved in conversations, and he's very inquisitive, and he learns, and he's not ashamed to be like, hey, I could tell he's like, I'm not an expert, but I know what I know. I love that about him. Shout out to Cosmic Chris. And I was looking at the apples and thinking of him because I was like, he got his name from the Cosmic Crisp apple. Yeah, anyway. All righty. Now I will look at the Peace Been Frank, time traveling. Yes, I think I did when I was on the Podcraft, I touched on that a little bit. If you remember, I was calling it time stacking. And I haven't heard anyone else call it time stacking. So I'm going to I feel comfortable saying that that's something that I coined the phrase time stacking. In time stacking, time travel is the concept of time travel is so logical because you're not going forward or backwards. Although I did say you're in different locations and you can relate that to time, yes. But I'm saying in your own existence, like you as Ben Frank or me as Napa. Peace, Saramka. See you, Napa. I need to connect. Got it. Yeah, we'll get in touch through Sanet or Asar. And I think Jabari wants to do a meeting. I wasn't even looking at the chat. I was talking about the debate. Yeah, definitely. We have to talk soon. I'll tell Saneter after this live. But I was saying time stacking in the sense of time travel, meaning you are where you are. You're never, stay with me on this, you're never away from yourself, right? You're never going to be, you're in one place and then you're in another place. I mean, unless you're talking about by location, but that's a different conversation. I'm saying for the most part in general, you are going to be where you are all the time. So as knowing that, it's a vertical travel more than it is like a linear straightforward travel or back travel. You are in the time, standing in every phase of time. You're standing in past, you're standing in present, and you're standing in future. And then you can go in and talk about entropy. There's a lot here to do. But I'm going to end this so it won't be that long. But what I was saying before I went off on a tangent again is just think about these things. Sit down. Think about the phenomenon of how we exist, because there's a lot that we don't know that is very phenomenal. And think about time and the formation of time and all the other elements that come into play when it when it comes to our existence. When we are, even in the holy writings, it says, I say I am. When we are, my battery's about to die. When we are, there's so much power behind that and so much mystery, so much to find out, and so much to really look into. So, with that said, before the battery dies completely, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Asara will get in touch with you. I'll talk to Senator. And much love to everybody. Thank you for listening. Think about it. The veil is thinning. We are in the time. We're in the time of getting quiet. Right before we're not quite dying, but we're approaching the dying time. And when I say dying, it just means we're going into that transition, and then we're going to come back on the other side, which is called a new year in the spring, and we will be totally new. So it's exciting. All right. Peace to the darkest minds of the light, and have a good day. Hey, baby girl.